Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And go.
There's nothing better than hearing that word.
Which one? And?
Go.
Oh.
Which indicates to me it's time to start the greatest podcast in board game media history.
Don't gesticulate your head away from the microphone at all times.
I don't. I do it occasionally for effect, and I think that it adds a bit of variety.
Doppler effect?
The Doppler effect is very interesting because people often think, like when we drive the ambulance, we learn about the Doppler effect. Because you can be driving 60 miles an hour and you are outrunning the sound of your siren. So you can't be behind somebody expecting them to pull over thinking that they are hearing your siren.
So that's why the ambulances drive so slow.
No.
That and safety.
That and safety.
I'm Gabi, the primary host. That they're talking is Jerry. Also today with us,
a special guest.
Once again.
Hello, it is I.
Enrique, why do we have you on this show?
Well, apparently I am a fan favorite amongst some people. So
You are. Frankie loves you.
Frankie
is going to come on the show one of these days.
You keep saying that, but yet he's never been on.
I've never invited Frankie because Frankie is...
Now, Enrique will try to explain something.
Wow, you really just went all out on that.
I paid a British woman £8 to record that on Fiverr, which is very misleading because Fiverr is $5. £8 is like $13 to us, isn't it? I don't do exchange rates very well. So that cost me a lot of money to have some British woman recite that so that you could then speak on our show.
What are you going to talk about, Enrique?
Not too sure.
What's something you've been doing recently that would be of interest?
Nothing.
I want to know why I'm wearing a sweater and you are sleeveless.
I would like to know why I'm holding your hand in a very awkward manner.
Here.
And why is your fingers
Who
just
the blowfish?
digging into my fingers?
I'm sorry.
It's called love and care.
If you don't want to hold hands while we podcast, that's fine.
You know, physical touch gives you oxytocin, a drug that fuels your brain with good feelings. And now Jerry's holding my hand, and oxytocin is flowing through me.
Don't you feel his fingernails?
And then
just
if I do
kinda,
this,
don't do that.
Those are my knuckles.
I'm rubbing his knuckles with my thumb. Thumb rubbing them knuckles.
I was asked to
Your
leave.
hands are particularly
Rough.
Soft.
not rough, but dry.
I have a skin condition.
What is your
because he
skin
doesn't
condition?
sweat. He has no moisture.
Exfoliative keratolysis. And there's no ribbon for that. There is no marches. There are no walks. It is something that you must suffer in silence.
Suffer in silence.
Which I do. And as someone who is just destined to suffer,
You rarely suffer in silence, though. You let us know loudly
I want everybody
what you're dealing with.
to know what I'm dealing with, mainly because I think that ingratiates them to me. It helps. It makes me...
Self-deprecation, maybe.
It is. It also helps them to view me as a person because I am a person.
You're a person?
People helping people. That is
People helping people. That's where my wife works. People's bank.
Your wife works at a bank.
And she helps people all the time.
That is the theme of her bank. People helping people, which is the dumbest theme ever. Like, what's the opposite of
Who
that?
else is going to help you?
Aliens.
Animals helping people. I mean, that could be the case if you have a
Service dog.
a service animal,
Or a service
kangaroo.
A service kangaroo.
I bet they have those in Australia.
They don't. There's no such thing.
Come here, boy. Yo, bouncy, 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 bouncy. Fun, 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 fun.
Roger. I would name him Roger if I had a kangaroo.
Roger was the one that was like super jacked. That was a kangaroo. That was super jacked.
I love the fact that kangaroos can get jacked. Dogs can get jacked. Cats can't get jacked.
Big cats can.
I've never seen a jacked cat.
I have seen a jacked cat.
Where?
There are muscular cats in the wild.
I have never. Oh, well, no.
If you look at their,
I think-
what would you call that? Their breast muscles?
Pecs. You don't have those.
I have them. They're just not prominent.
Memories.
Memories all alone in the milk light.
That's a great song.
Enrique, he wears sleeves as if to purport that he has muscles.
No,
Sleeveless.
This is all flab, sadly.
Enrique,
Why do you prefer the sleeveless shirt?
It's something I have mainly.
is it sensory?
Sensory.
Yes, it's something that bothers you if you wear sleeves. If I bought you a turtleneck, would you wear it?
I wouldn't know. I guess I would. It's just I've never actually worn a turtleneck before. So
Tactical. There are such things as tactical turtlenecks. I learned about them from a friend of mine who was a police law enforcement officer.
You hide a knife in your neck.
Well,
No,
I
it
think
covers
it's just,
your neck, so it has to not be
It's
penetrated.
like a Batman
By,
belt around
like,
your neck.
like a Kevlar,
Yeah.
a Kevlar neck.
Neck grappling hook
So
and
they-
gauge.
So,
Well,
so basically, it would like the tactical turtleneck would like have what, Kevlar or something.
Right.
Prevent someone from slicing your neck?
Well, correct.
And mainly
Oh,
for
that's
like
kind of dark.
and for mainly like stray bullets of some type.
Like Batman, if somebody shot Batman in the jaw and the mandible area,
He'd be
that'd
dead.
be it. He'd be
Yeah.
dead. That's the one area that
No more mastication for him.
No. Why do you think that that's like they always shoot him in like the chest area?
The most protected of areas.
Well,
it's
because
stupid.
It's because it's a bigger body mass. It's easier to hit.
Well, true. But I mean,
That's-
John Wick's going to hit him right in that jaw. John Wick versus Batman.
no,
Who
John,
wins?
John Wick would go for the body.
No,
because-
no. Have you seen John Wick? I
Yeah,
don't think he
he
ever goes
does
for the
a
body.
tactical-
It's headshot. Headshot. John Wick versus Batman. Who wins? Ooh. Oh, I've produced a good question.
John Wick, which by the way is my favorite celebrity line of candles, next to Gwyneth Paltrow's brand, Goop.
Wickless Paltrow.
John Wick.
Wickless.
Get it?
Yes. Everyone got it.
Okay, I was making you didn't laugh, so I was making sure you got my joke because nobody laughed at my John Wick.
I thought you were
candle.
just saying whack. Yes.
Okay.
No, I got it.
You got it. You just didn't laugh. You didn't appreciate it. That's fine.
No, because you've made it before.
Here's why John Wick would win. Because John Wick is obviously the everyday man, whereas we can't actually relate to Batman because he is the 1%.
He's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire. He drives a Mercedes Batmobile. And
He's got all those wonderful toys.
I am enthralled to see our Pat, Robert Pattinson.
It's going to be a make or break. Like, it's either going to be the best. This is my thing. It's either going to be the best Batman of all time or the worst.
I really like Paul Dano and the fact that Paul Dano is the Riddler and the fact that Colin Farrell is the Penguin. That is amazing to me. Who's Catwoman? I forget. It's not Zionde.
It's as a American woman. His daughter.
My favorite Jewish rock star. Are you
I
talking
can't think of his
about
name.
Fly? Are you talking about
No.
Lenny Kravitz?
Zoe Kravitz.
Really? I didn't
His
know
daughter.
that. Really?
Lenny and
I
Halle.
love Lenny.
Lenny and
I
Halle.
want to fly away.
Lenny and Halle Berry had a baby, I think.
I lost my frequent flyer miles. I can't fly away. I can Uber away at 60 miles an hour.
The daughter of actor musician Lenny Kravitz. Oh, my bad. Not Halle Berry. Lisa Bonet.
I don't know Bonet.
Yes, you do. She was the attractive daughter of Bill Cosby in The Cosby Show.
Oh, I do know the Bonet.
Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet had a beautiful daughter, and her name is Zoe Kravitz. Highly attractive
Very
young lady.
nice. That is, I love Lenny Kravitz. He was the Elvis of our era.
Was he?
Yes, he was. He was compared to Elvis when he first came out. But unfortunately, he's very, not eccentric, but his music is one of not...
His music sounds very 70s-ish.
That's the words I was looking for.
70s-ish?
Thank
Those
you.
are the words.
Enrique, you don't know Lenny Kravitz, do you?
I do not.
Not personally.
No.
If you did, I would like you a lot more. But I find it fascinating that there is an age group where people do not understand not only the musical preferences of a certain generation, but also they completely do not know of these artists. Like Sade, your goddaughter.
Correct. What?
She's on a particular podcast called the Board Game Snob. Not the Board Game Snob.
Ours?
No,
she's on here right now?
She's on the other one.
She's been quiet as a...
She's on the other one. What's the other podcast?
Disagreeable nerd.
Yeah. But Sade often doesn't remember or even know of people that are incredibly popular,
Right.
which bugs me.
In pop culture beyond the modern times.
Like modern times being 2003.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's when she was born.
So do you think there'll ever be a time in board gaming where people
where's my hard merge button?
And now a hard merge into board games.
And that's why I paid Reese Witherspoon 13 pounds to do that. I love Reese Witherspoon.
with a spoon.
I love her. I have a list.
What's that?
Sorry.
Your list shows up every now and then, and I've noticed that.
Well, no, my list
It
leaves.
shows up especially when you had alcohol.
This is Jack Daniels. Why are you hanging on me? Do you think there'll ever be a time where people will look in terms of board games and they'll be like, I don't remember this game. I don't know this game. I don't appreciate this game.
Like Ticket to Ride. Or Catan.
Correct. So I taught Ticket to Ride to some teenagers here a few weeks ago.
20 years from now.
And they completely acted like, yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing. Like video games, like you remember like the time period of
Super Mario Brothers spoke to me.
right, like having a Nintendo and going, this is amazing. Do you not did you not relish the times of going into pawn shops and finding those old NES just Nintendo games for like $3 a piece?
I do. I'm looking for Tecmo Bowl.
Yes. And finding something that you don't know what it's like. You're just looking at the picture and go, I'll hope this is good. And paying $3 for it and taking it home. That is something that our children will never have.
Blowing the cartridge.
Mainly because we'll never have children together. But also that my children won't have it because you won't have children because you're narrow urethra.
Urethra Franklin.
I love her.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
R.I.P.
R-I-P.
Enrique.
Yes,
Enrique, why do you have a scratch on your nose?
it's nothing too interesting, sadly.
Tell me. It involved a cat, no doubt. Not a cat woman.
This is the thing. You can make something not too interesting somewhat interesting if you work at it.
I can make anything interesting.
Okay, go ahead. Let you tell the story that's not too interesting and see if Jerry can make it interesting and go.
All right. Basically, we went to, I forget where we went a couple of days ago.
Memory loss. You've been drinking alcohol at an extreme degree.
Pause. I got this.
Okay.
I feel it was Denison. I had to go clean some carpets over there.
Okay.
And as soon as we came back, well, I was looking for. We get home and I'm looking for my cat. My cat's like, "Oh, you guys are all home." It's like, well, my cat's like slightly blind, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to scare her. So I kind of just sneak right behind her. I'm just creepily just coming up to her.
Why is it creepily?
Because she doesn't like me. Anytime like she knows I'm there, she just runs. She bolts. So it's basically a creepy manner for her. It's like just
creepy is never a good way to go. Like just say hello to your cat.
Please continue.
No. So I'm just creeping up to the cat. I'm reaching my hands out in an ominous way. ready to grab her, and I just slam my hands down on her, and she freaks out. It's like, I'm picking her up, and she's like, just flinging her around. She clips my nose.
She scratches your nose.
So, I come back from a small Texas town, Denison, which is notable for having the Doc Holiday Festival every year. R.I.P. And while I come home, I see my feline, which suffers from visual acuity difficulties. And I decide to approach rather stealthily upon my disabled cat because I'm a deviant and I enjoy scaring felines. And as I approach said cat and grapple with it, I grab it and hoist it upward. She begins to flail about. And before I know it, she has scratched my nose in such a manner to indicate that I should release said cat. My body is telling me no.
Let it go.
But I don't. And
Refuse.
instead, this cat
You hold on.
has scarred me for life.
It scratches about.
My nose will never be the same.
Your nose is askew.
I will forever bear this scar of my improper actions towards this cat, this gato,
El Gato.
of extreme, stoic, and yet introverted cat that I own and feed.
You scared it.
I scared a cat and it scratched my nose. That's all you had to say. You told like a 20-minute story. You scared a cat. It scratched your nose. That nose is awful. Please look away. And it caused you great harm. Why would you
Why are you creepily
doing anything?
anything?
Why? Here's the thing. From here on out, whenever you think to yourself, what I'm doing is creepy, stop. That's what I do. Anytime I think
Never get on Twitter.
this is creepy,
God.
I stop. And I say to myself, Jerry, no need.
To myself,
Stop it.
what a wonderful
R.I.P.
Louis.
C.K.
No.
I don't know who sings that
Armstrong.
song. Armstrong. Exactly. That's what I meant to say. We're going to talk about a game that requires you to have a phone and that phone to be highly educated. That is Smartphone Inc.
I'm
by
sending my phone to uni.
Cosmo
Kramer.
Drome Games and Arcade Wonders. Now, Smartphone Inc. All right, so keeping with our last podcast, I'm doing an advert now. We're going to switch to an ad because we need to do ads before we do stuff. And I think ads are what's going to propel us to greatness. It's obvious that you're not going to do it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We need to start doing ads. I said it on the last podcast.
Sir Maple,
.com.
the Gateway Network.
The Gateway Network. Those are the people that we're associated with loosely. Loosely. And I say loosely because we could lose them at any time. I'm not saying that Tim... What's Tim's name? The guy...
Kolinich.
Kolinich at Sir Maple is a bad guy. I don't know him personally. Is it Brian or Ryan? I don't know the guy.
Ryan.
Brian
was the ex.
Ryan at the Gamecasters.
The Gamecasters. Also, let's see. What other podcasts are on there?
Sheer Boredom.
Sheer
which
Boredom
won't board you.
has a YouTube. YouTube. Yeah. All right, mate.
But I'm not advertising for them because I'm advertising, like we need to start doing advertisements to show people that we can advertise, like the Gateway Network. So the Gateway Network is a great network. Say you have a podcast.
The Great Way Network.
Say you have a podcast. And maybe
I have a podcast.
you're a middle-aged man.
I'm a middle-aged man.
And down in the basement, you spend many hours working on said podcast. And while you're down there, after you come home,
Why is it got to be in the basement? It's dark and dank.
you go down to the basement, and it's very dank.
Why? I don't want to be in the dank basement.
And as
That's
you're
what usually like 30-year-old men live.
listen,
There's no basements in this area.
listen, I'm trying
Might
to
as well.
appeal
The
to.
basements are a northeastern thing.
I'm trying to appeal to the northeastern demographic.
Okay.
Please silence. And so, as you're working on your podcast,
For those of you in Detroit area, listen up.
your wife comes down and says, Daryl, like, you need to come up. Like, what are you doing? You need to come upstairs and be with your children.
I've been painting minis.
But you're busy, like, creating content.
Content
And
creator, babe.
You've got a microphone and you've got Audacity, which you've pirated.
I've been twitching all day.
And you're trying to build your brand because you think that's what's going to propel you from your job you're in Detroit, so you're working at the Ford factory.
Sure, obviously. The assembly line. I've been putting lug nuts on this car all day.
Daryl-
But my real passion lies in twitching.
Daryl wants to get out of this. And so he works on his podcast all day long.
I mean, how many lug nuts can you put on the car?
And he
in a day?
thinks to himself, if only there was a network for mediocre content creators that I could associate.
Who else posts on Twitch? The Gamecaster is Ryan. He posts on Twitch.
Is it Brian or Brian? If he could post his podcast with other mediocre entities.
Ryan's wife, Natalie.
Who?
The star of the show.
I don't know her. Is she on the show?
Jeff.
Oh, listen.
Don't get me freaking started on
I
Jeff.
don't like Jeff mainly because there's reasons. So
Do you like any Jeff, really?
you ask yourself, like Daryl, he like goes upstairs. He sent an email to the Gateway Network saying, "Can I be a part of the network?"
Daryl's like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, this is the last straw. Like, I'm yearning for something to give my life meaning. And he finds out about the Gateway Network. He's like, I've been twitching for a long time.
This might be my ticket.
This is my ticket out
He
of here.
goes upstairs and he finds a note from his wife that says, "I'm leaving. I've taken the children. I've taken the children." Don't laugh. This is serious. And she says, "I've taken the children and I'm going elsewhere.
You have fun with your Twitch channel."
You spend too much time."
And Daryl's like, frack her. I never liked her anyway.
It's like, you know,
The children were an accident. Everybody knows that.
I should be able to now create content.
I've been playing Call of Duty like nobody's business.
So he goes back down and he starts creating content.
He goes back down there.
And he submits it to the Gateway Network. And now
Gateway
he
Network.
fills the hole.
But Brian's like, well, I don't know. This isn't really like board gaming. He's been twitching Call of Duty.
Doesn't
this whole
matter.
time.
Dear Brian doesn't care. Brian has no morals. And he realizes
But
that
he has so many so many viewers.
tens
Yeah.
of them. Tens of them.
He's got tens
And
of
so
them.
now Daryl's able to submit his work and he fills that hole that was left by his family, his wife leaving him. And he is now part of a community that actually means something. The GatewayNetwork.com.
We shout each other out. And we're like, hey, check out Daryl.
So if you are a mediocre, recently divorced podcaster and you're looking for a place for your content to be displayed, please contact, is it Ryan or Brian?
Ryan.
Brian.
Ryan.
At thegatewaynetwork.com, and you can be a part of something great.
There are such people as the Board Game Critic. They have a podcast. The McMeeples. They're on Instagram.
I know them.
Smash Up Guy. He's on Instagram.
I don't know him either.
Mr. Board Gamer. Chic Out Gaming.
Chic out.
YouTube and Instagram.
Okay.
I'm literally on the gatewaynetwork.com as I speak.
Where are we?
Meeple Mentor.
Where are we?
Bad board game covers.
No,
They're
where
on
are we?
Instagram.
I don't see our.
I'm scrolling.
Scroll down. Why?
We're not on here.
Why are
You
we
know
not
what?
on
We're
it?
not on here.
We're not on there. Did we get kicked
Frack
out?
you, Ryan. We're not on here.
So
I am literally on the gatewaynetwork.com. I'm scrolling. We have McMeeple's top of the table being friends, board game critic, cheek out, Board Game.
We can't
We're
find
not,
them.
We're not on here.
Listen, Brian.
Why are we not on here, Jerry?
Brian, we're coming for you.
Ryan, Brian, Jeff, Natalie.
You have.
Why are we not on the homepage of the Gateway Network? You know what?
Because we're too hot.
I'm done.
We're out of
I'm
it.
so done.
We're burning.
We
this
sent
place
you
down.
we sent you our picture of our logo. Why are we not on here?
Do not go to the
Charity Board Gamer, Fantasy and Some Flight, Sheer Boredom.
Nobody likes charity.
Better Half Reviews, A Couple Games.
I don't know any of these people.
Meeple People Comedy on YouTube.
These sound like degenerates.
Oh my God.
Listen.
This is atrocious.
I don't know why we're not on there. Why are we advertising
We're not on
for
there.
people? Okay.
We're not even in the network, apparently.
Cut all this. Brian, you're dead to us. And we are forever. Jeff!
Tom, give us a call. We're available for the Dice Tower Network.
The Dice Tower, brought to you by Cool... No, who are they on with?
Game Nerds.
GameNerd.com. We love you, Tom. Tom and
I
Z.
love hats.
And Sam.
Mike
Delizio. Ben Maddox. Ben Maddox come on our show. We are of the... No, we're not necessarily of the Dice Tower. But we are not opposed to the Dice Tower Network.
To some members.
And we're going to talk about a game that has been recommended by a Dice Tower Network member, a very big member. Smartphone Inc.
Hello.
Why are you giggling?
Hello, nurse.
So, Mike Delisio, years back,
The bigger the member, the harder the fall.
he kept talking about Smartphone Inc. I like Smartphone Inc.
Wouldn't shut up about it.
Mike rarely shuts up about stuff. He's one of these people that I'm glad, you have to reinvent yourself. Like you're a teacher and you're teaching young minds, and then you realize my passion's not here. My passion is unboxing board games. And so you quit your job as an Indiana. Is it Indiana? Was he from Indiana? I think it was Indiana.
Originally, yeah. But
He quits his job
now he's
teaching.
in Homestead, Florida.
And he goes down to Florida. He moves his wife. And
With
his
the
wife-
rest of them.
His wife's like, I don't want to go. And he's like, no, listen, you have to support me.
Like, Tiffany, come on. We
Come
gotta
on,
go.
Tiffany. Come on. Tiff.
gotta go.
Do you think he calls her Tiff?
Tiff. He calls her Tiff.
Do you think so?
Yeah, and then he also attends the Toronto International Film Festival.
Does he?
Like, rates movies as well.
Does he really?
I think so.
So anyways, Mike Delisio, who is a fan of this show, he loves the show. This
Loves
is
us.
his
Listens to
favorite
every
podcast.
episode.
His favorite podcast. Smartphoneinc.com. Maybe they're type in smartphoneinc.com. See what pulls up just in case. Just in case. We got to do some business here.
Okay.
Smartphone Inc. Which is Dice Tower seal of something. I can't see it from here. Enrique, look at that and read that on smartphone. There's a box. On the box, can you look at Smartphone Inc. and read turn it around. You have to get up from your chair. And turn the box around. Does it say Dice Tower on the front of the box?
Buy or lease this domain today.
Get it. Smartphone Inc. What does it say? Is that excellent? The Dice Tower seal of excellence.
Oh, Tom gave it a excellence.
It's not good. It's not great.
excellent.
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 It's fine.
So, Smartphone Inc. is a game
Oh, really?
that one would play
Thanks for tuning in, folks.
if you had a beard and you were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not you kind of you're the man of the town. Like you kind of you wear blazers to places.
And you wear
Button-up shirts. Your shirts have buttons.
you have lots of hair and you pull it up into like a ponytail.
Well, you
kinda
can
behind you.
like a man bun.
A man bun.
Would you have a man bun if you had hair? Would you ever?
If I had hair and I let it grow out, no, I would never do a man bun.
Enrique, are you pro man bun or anti man bun?
I can do a man. Oh, well, I'm okay with a man.
You're okay, but you're nonchalant about it.
It's just
I'm not a man bun guy.
I wouldn't personally wear a man bun because I wouldn't look good at it.
I like big buns, and I cannot lie. I think that man buns say, I have a lot of hair. This hair's not
It's
falling
braggadocious.
out, and it's so much that I choose to
It's
wrangle
like,
it.
Well, it's like I don't even care to style it. I have so much hair, I don't even care to style it.
Honey, what are you doing? I'm just putting my hair up in a bun, and I'm going. So, what was I saying? The Smartphone Inc. is a game that type of person would enjoy. The type of person that has so much in excess that you would be able to appreciate it. Because to really enjoy Smartphone Inc., you must have an excess of friends. Particularly, at least, is it 5?
Yes.
5. Because Smartphone Inc. as a two-player game is meh. As a three-player game It's okay.
It's okay.
And a 4-player game,
I don't know. We haven't played it.
we don't have another person that is our friend.
No one enjoys playing. Bubba, come back.
Bubba, R.I.P. No, actually, it's his eyes. He had eye surgery.
He did have eye surgery.
Well, it's because your microphone's off. But Bubba had eye surgery. It was something to do. Now, he has a very complicated eye issue, he told me once.
Something happened to his cornea.
Really?
Yes.
It wasn't detached, was it?
A tear.
That's a retina. He had a cornea tear.
Cornea tear.
Yeah, so he had to get that fixed. Bubba has issues with his eyes.
I'm cornea fused.
That was highly inappropriate, and you will be canceled for making
Poor
fun
Bubba.
of my dear friend Bubba and his eyesight.
Bubba don't care. He gave me his
No, he didn't.
he gave me his blessings for that joke.
I called him and said, Bubba,
He said,
can we make fun of your disability? And he said, no.
Are you okay? And I said, yeah. I want to say I've got a joke about being cornea fused.
He
He's
didn't
like,
say
that's
that.
good.
No.
Go ahead.
Bubba didn't say that.
He's like, that's solid.
Anyway, Smartphone Inc., which is a darling by Mr. Mike Delicio. He loves this game. He keeps talking about it.
Designer Ivan
Ivan the Red.
Lashin.
What else is Ivan?
I'm looking.
Look at.
Skytopia.
Don't know it.
Furnace. He did Furnace?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
And if you'll remember, and our fans will appreciate that, like 3 episodes ago when we talked about Furnace, I told you that this guy made Furnace. And you completely forgot because you have a deficient vitamin V. Vitamin V? Vitamin V. I, however, am not deficient in Jack Daniels.
No, not at all.
because you keep giving me this. Why?
I'm plying you with the rum.
That's cheap rum. Your wife, what's that cheap rum?
How dare you talk about that? Go ahead.
It's very cheap.
Smartphone
Inc. is a game. Let me do an advertisement for
Okay,
it. Because
go ahead.
Arcane Wonders might be a sponsor one day. Do you have a phone? Is your phone a little slow? Of course not, because you're not that type of person. You have a smartphone. Have you ever wondered what it would take to run a business selling phones? Of course you have, because you're like me. You're an entrepreneur. You're a venture capitalist. You know about these things. You think to yourself, what would it be like to manipulate the world market to bring my type of phone to the world that may or may not have spyware, that may or may not be tracking you, that may or may not be harvesting your data so that we could sell it to my friend Zuckerberg? Well, in Smartphone Inc., that's exactly what you're doing. You're utilizing your tablet of power, which are these little 2 tablets, overlaying them so that you can then decide what type of actions and the power for which you can take. And then over a series of rounds, you are able to expand your empire to the various far reaches of the world, develop technology, and sell your products to various areas of the world. That is Smartphone Inc. An action selection not worker placement. It's more like area influence game that requires you to think so far ahead into the future, but yet at the same time be able to manipulate markets, setting the prices for your phone, being able to invade, to influence certain areas of the world, being able to perhaps price out your competitors. Smartphoneinc.com. No,
It's a good.
don't go to .com. There's no .com. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. Why is everything .com?
It's commercialism. It's a excellent game. It's a good game at 2. It's a good game at 3. And it's only a good game because of the smoothness of the actions. And I love at the top of the board of this game, it tells you these are the actions. You can go through them. It starts off like this. It starts off like that. And you just simply go through the actions of the game. Each round, this is the actions. How many rounds are there?
There's 5.
There's 5 rounds.
Turn Enrique's
Oh,
mic
sorry.
off. Why do you keep turning his mic off? Do you not
He
like
does some
him?
nose breathing every now and then.
Yeah, I do.
So listen, why
So
do you breathe
every-
through your nose?
Because I don't really breathe through my mouth as often as
So you're not a mouth breather.
I am not.
Gabi, why do you have a problem with him breathing through the appropriate orifice?
As long as it doesn't come through the microphone, I'm good.
And I feel like I breathe too heavy as well.
You are a heavy breather.
As for a young man and as healthy as you are, you do breathe heavily through your nose.
He is not healthy.
Yeah,
he has
there's no-
a horseshoe kidney. He eats only cheese
Horseshoe?
and chicken.
Horseshoe.
Horseshoe.
And bacon.
What did I say?
And bacon.
I don't know, but it sounded weird. Horseshoe.
Horseshoe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. horseshoe
smartphone has an excellent. I don't know. I hate to say smoothness of the game. There's no. I don't know the terminology. I'm not good with words.
Here's the term.
At the top of the game board, it tells you, okay, we're going to start here. This step, this step, this step. How many steps are in this game?
Let me
8 to 10?
6.
I don't know. 6. Okay. There's 6 steps in the game.
don't trust Enrique. He lies.
The board of this game tells you what to do. Yes, you can move the thing along, but mostly you're just going to be like, okay, so we're going to start here and go there. This game is excellent. And it's excellent at 2-player, even though it doesn't really give you the full, like, fighting each other for locations. It's good at 3-player. Jerry and Enrique fought for locations in this game. I did my own thing in this game. I like, you know what, Jerry and Enrique are fighting over here. I'm going to the USA. I'm going way over here. I'm going to mind my own business.
Can I interject?
Sure, go ahead.
Because you're just talking and nobody cares.
I'm not. You know what? Fuck you.
It's not that nobody cares. It's
No,
just
yeah,
that
what are you going to say something amazing?
I am actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Smartphone Inc.'s aesthetic is what you're trying to talk about.
Aesthetic.
Yes.
You can't even say the word right.
Not only is the artwork and the simplicity of this game very apparent, the double layered board where you're
Amazing.
perfect. What I thought when I first read the rule book was a gimmick where you have these 2 tablets, so to speak, that you overlay and those dictate how powerful your actions will be. I thought that was stupid.
Richard Potatoes.
I thought it was stupid when I first saw it. I thought this is just a gimmick. No, that is actually a very
very main part of the game.
It's the main action. It's a very inventive. I really appreciate that, and I think that is really where Smartphone Inc. kind of segregates itself out from the rest of the action selection games. So what I'm talking about is these little 6x6 little tablets that you're given that are double-sided that you're to overlay, and they expose the various little actions that you can do. So you're covering up actions and you're exposing actions, and they dictate how many phones you're going to produce and how strong the actions are going to be for that round. That is a beautiful mechanism. Instead of just allowing the players to just choose the actions, to allow them to be able to manipulate this little personal player board, perfect. The double layered board where you're setting all your pieces, perfect. The overlay at the top that Gabi is talking about that shows which area of the game that you're in, perfect. Everything about this game is very clean. It's very minimal. There's not a lot of fancy artwork. It's just very fluid. It's kind of like, well, you know what? I remember what Steve Jobs was talking about. He gave a lecture once about Apple, and when he designed kind of the interface with Apple and the various products that they were producing at the time, he said when he was in college, he took a calligraphy class. He said he just dropped out for a year, did what he wanted to do, and he took a calligraphy class where he appreciated the various fonts and how something can be so minimal but yet be so very attractive. And he said that was really what drove him later in life to produce things with iPhones and various other Apple products that were very simple, very streamlined, very clean. Whereas I'm an Android fan myself, as you can tell from my voice, where I enjoy having a bunch of little, bits and pieces and complicated things that are, irritating. But at the same time, iPhones are made for people who like this very streamlined, very clean, very simple interface. That's what Smartphone Inc. is like. It's like the Apple of board gaming. It's very attractive, very well done, not overproduced. But there are player trays, little plastic player trays with the various other little pieces, each of them having their own purpose. Everything about this game seems like it would be very complicated, but it's a very simple rule set. But yet, the game lends itself to be very complicated because what you're doing is trying a little bit of everything. You're trying to have a little bit of area control. You're trying to have a little bit of area of action selection. You're having a little bit of what are the technologies that I need to sell. There's a little bit of take that where I invade an area that you're at and I start selling phones at a cheaper price than you. The only problem that I have with Smartphone Inc., you got to have a lot of friends. I think that this game does not truly shine with just 2 players or 3 players. I think you need 4 or 5 for it to really set off. And we don't have another friend because Bubba, as we spoke about earlier, he is now going blind. Not blind. He's getting hard of seeing. He's visually handicapped at this very moment. And so because our group is just of 3 players, and Smartphone Inc., I think, really lends itself to having 4 or 5 players.
I think 5 is the best.
I think if you max this game out, and it has tons of replayability because the various powers that you get when you research the various features of your cell phones give you an edge, and those can be randomized as if certain areas on the board randomized with the what do you call it, retail spaces. I think this game lends itself to replayability. What I'm saying is if you have a large board gaming group and you appreciate replayability, Smartphone Inc. is excellent. I've not played it solo or with the Steve, which would be a job to play, I think. See that pun?
Got it. I got it.
You didn't laugh.
I'm sure
That's
that was funny.
Second joke of mine you haven't
That
looked
was
at.
funny.
Your job as host is to make me feel welcome and to laugh at my dumb jokes. I think that Smartphone Inc. for us as a player group is good. It's enjoyable. Enrique, I would be not really fascinated, but I would be able to take a drink of my Jack Daniels if you would talk for a moment. So I would very much like for you to talk.
What would you like me to talk about?
Tell me what your thoughts
Perhaps
are.
the game Smartphone Inc. and your thoughts on how it plays, and did you enjoy it or not?
I enjoyed the game thoroughly, even though I was kind of rocky at the very beginning because it was like...
You're Sylvester Stallone?
But mainly I was rocky.
I've turned your mic off.
Because he's chewing ice.
Yes, he's chewing ice into the microphone. Go ahead, Jerry. Enrique.
I was going to say, there's no way I could be confused with Jerry. But mainly, the game itself was very smooth. I believe it had a lot of interconnection. It played with other mechanics of itself, where it complemented, you needed certain upgrades to drive your phone price even higher, because there was only a couple of companies where only certain countries where they would buy your phone for like 2-3.
You're losing me.
I will interject here because I know what you're talking about. When me and Gabi played 2-player, we completely stayed away from each other. But when this 3-player game, I decided that I would invade Enrique's territory. So the player interaction of this game is being able to go into another player's area, lower the price of your cell phones because turn order matters in this game, and sell your cell phones for a cheaper price in their area, and thus steal from them victory points.
And I like the player order as well. It's like you only go first if your prices are lower than your than your opponents.
There's a lot going on in this game. So to start,
There's not a lot.
there's a lot
There's
going.
not. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a lot. You are blowing this out of proportion. You're being radical right now, and you need to step it down a little bit. There's not a lot going on. This game is very easy to teach. You learned it. You set it up.
You know what?
So it's not a lot.
I was going to say something. Just forget it.
Okay.
Just forget it. I'm done.
You should be done. Stick a fork in you because you don't know what you're talking about. Mike DeLisio said this game is great. How dare you go against Mike? How dare you? How dare you? Do you like
It's a good game.
It's good. It's not excellent.
No.
Dice Tower says it's excellent.
I don't agree with that.
How
because
dare you?
The excellence of this game is very player dependent.
I agree. Don't tell anybody that. I don't want to hurt Mike's feelings.
In this game of a 3-player game, we all started off very close. We all started off super close to each other in our initial territories.
Which we're very close
Then
to.
I went far away from everyone else.
Because you
I
don't
didn't
like that.
I didn't want to negotiate with
You are
nobody.
antisocial.
You went to the west.
Enrique and Jerry were fighting over locations.
We were dying.
Meanwhile, I was doing my own thing. I won this game by 1 point. Jerry and Enrique were constantly fighting over territories. This is a 3-player game. If you have a 5-player game, it will not allow you the ability to do that. You will have to fight over locations. And the fighting over locations happens when you are shipping, not shipping,
When you're
Selling.
Selling
your products.
selling your products.
So my point being is that this game's excellent is probably dependent on the player count.
it
So-
definitely is.
With that, do you think that takes away from the game's beauty because it requires a certain amount of players?
Well, that's
a deep subject.
At a 3-player game, it was an average game. It was kind of like it's something to just kind of play, not really get too
But
serious.
it didn't get the Dice Tower seal of average. It got the Dice Tower seal of excellence.
Yeah, but like Dice Tower.
Am I the only one that liked this game? I thought we were having fun.
It was a fun game, but it would be even better with more people.
Correct. If only we had friends.
And I bet you Dice Tower had like a bunch of people.
Because there's
like,
tons of friends at the Dice Tower.
Yeah,
There's
so
Mike.
of course they would like
There's
give it
Christy.
an excellent mark on it because
There's Tom.
It's a very good game.
Who?
It's 5 rounds of 8 phases in each round, and those phases, that sounds like a lot, but they go through very quickly.
There's Mike.
There's 8 phases to each round. There's 5 rounds.
There's Z.
And by the time you're done, it's a very quick playing game.
Sam is no longer there.
Depending on how many people you have.
There's Jason Levine.
We played 3-player this time, and we purposely
And Roy.
set each other up close to each other.
Suzanne.
So then Jerry and Enrique ended up fighting over spots.
We did because we
And
fight.
I went away from them and did my own thing.
As you should.
But in a 5-player game, you wouldn't be allowed that luxury.
You literally said that a minute ago, I think.
No, I did not say you would.
didn't.
I did not say
You
luxury.
didn't say luxury.
So in a 5-player game,
you
which
think?
I think this is a 5-player game is what this should be played at, 4 or 5, no less.
What do you consider a luxury? What is your definition of a luxury? I say to you.
I inquire you.
I don't know.
Inquiry you?
Inquiry?
Is that a word? Query?
Query?
Query is a word. A luxury, I would assume, is something that you don't necessarily need, but it's something that makes something luxurious. And if I think of luxurious, I think of something that is very just overwrought with not just fashion, but with comfort. It's not a necessity, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think that you necessarily need 5 players to enjoy Smartphone Inc. I think you need at least 3 or 4.
At least 3.
Correct. And you say least like it's a bad thing. You're using least like it's a pejorative.
No, it is. No, literally, you need at least 3 to enjoy this game.
I
somewhat
played this
to the level
game.
where it's for that.
I played this game with 3 players and I enjoyed it. And I am the most luxurious person here. Except you tend to really enjoy comfort.
I do enjoy my comforts.
And your comforts are not that great.
What do you mean by that?
You are great.
What do you mean by that?
I think you're a great person.
What do you mean by that?
You're great in size. You're great in personality. You're great in.
But what do you mean by that?
You know
I
you're
think
not
that
escaping
the
this
things that
question.
you enjoy are not necessarily luxurious. You like Velveeta cheese, and you like things that are not necessarily luxurious. You like things that are a lot of. You like quantity, not necessarily luxury.
You don't know me.
I do know you. I am the most. Yes, I know you more than
don't.
anybody.
You don't actually.
I've stared into your soul, and I know you better than you know yourself.
Smartphone Inc. Incredible components. Incredible board. All the little game trays that they come with all serve a purpose. They're great. The gameplay is like I love a game
It's smooth.
that tells you this is what and it's on the board. We're starting here. We're going there. These are what's going to happen in these turns. Smartphone does that.
It does it. Does it great.
There's no player aids, which I
don't need an
every
aid.
game should have player aids
Nope.
unless it is explicitly
Nope.
told on the board.
I am anti-aid.
You're an idiot.
I think if you need an aid, then
Player aid should be in every game unless it's very clear and explained on the main board.
it's explained. A smartphone don't need an aid.
Smartphone does not need a
Doesn't
player
need an
aid.
And I think that aids are for the weak and those with weak bloodlines.
Well, you're an idiot.
Do you need an aid?
I always need a
Smartphone Inc. does not need an aid because it's an excellent aid on the board.
Here I am with people who need aid, and I do not feel like there is aid. You're just not. I'm not rendering aid to you. I'm not going to. Although I did in Smartphone Inc. I said this thing here you should do because it's probably going to help you, and you did it, and yet you barely won.
I would give this game a 7 out of 10.
Wow, that's high. Enrique, rate it, please, with an arbitrary number that
Because
you're
we-
just literally pulling out of the midair.
Because we need to rate them
Because people
that's what people love.
people love ratings. I don't know why.
It's at a 3-player game. It's a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
That's his lowest rating yet.
Yeah, everything's a 10 to him because he
been
has
8 or 9s.
He has no values. I won't rate this game.
Rate it.
I'm not going.
Rate it.
I refuse to
Rate it.
because I'm trying to get on the Dice Tower. And I'm
Rate
going
it.
to leave you behind. It's an excellent game because Dice Tower says
Excellent. Oh, that's an 8 at least.
the Dice Tower says it's excellent, and Mike Delicioso says it's excellent. So I'm trying to get on the Dice Tower. I'm going to be the next member of the Dice Tower. You watch. They're going to. I'm checking my email right now. Tom is going to email to who?
Have you got anything?
He's going to email me and say, Jerry, this is him typing.
Dearest Jerry,
Please leave behind the Gateway
please
Network.
stop harassing me. with your
Ryan
email.
does not like you. as
I
much.
have received
Is it-
several emails
Is it Ryan or Brian?
from the members of the Gateway Network saying you are a horrible person.
We do not notice the board game snobs are on the website. Perhaps it's because you are too radical.
On the main page, you don't even appear on the Gateway Network.
Why does Tom have a British
I
accent?
do not know.
It doesn't matter.
Hello.
Either way, please
Welcome to the Dice Tower.
join us and take Sam's spot.
Fiddle faddle, fiddle faddle.
Yours truly,
Yours truly,
Thomas
Mike Delizio
V.
Vassal.
That's all. That's
Okay.
gonna do it for us.
That's gonna do it for this
I'm out of here.
ridiculous podcast
Find
of
me
Smartphone Inc.
at dicetower.com.
I'm Gabi.
This is Jerry.
This
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.